Yo, hit that subscribe button for daily boxing videos, guys. Alright, so it looks like Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte and Luis Ortiz are going to fight next. Presumably because the WBC has ordered a title eliminator against Luis King Kong Ortiz and Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte. They've ordered a title eliminator, which means if these two actually get in the ring and fight, the winner of these of this fight will then be the mandatory, and Deontay Wilder will be obligated to face this person. And if he doesn't face this person, they're going to strip him from his title. But right now, Dillian Whyte kind of has options because the IBF ordered Dillian Whyte to face Kubrat Pulev. So right now, if you think about it, Dillian Whyte kind of has options because he could either take the route of the IBF route and go and fight a title eliminator against Kubrat Pulev, and if he beats Kubrat Pulev, he will then be the mandatory for AJ's IBF strap. He will win the mandatory position, right? Which means Anthony Joshua would be forced to defend his IBF strap and all his other belts, of course, against Dillian Whyte, unless he decides to duck Dillian Whyte. And if he ducks Dillian Whyte, then he'll vacate his IBF strap. And that would be the only way Dillian Whyte wouldn't be able to face AJ. But AJ already fought and beat him, so why would he duck him, right? So, but here's the thing. Dillian Whyte has options, right? Because he could go that route. He could go the Kubrat Pulev route, or he could go the WBC route and face Luis Ortiz. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up. Luis Ortiz is a far more difficult fight for Dillian Whyte. Like, he's far more difficult in terms of, danger. I think Kubrat Pulev is an easier fight for Dillian Whyte. Kubrat Pulev, I've always felt was a bit of a hype job. I've always felt that he was a bit overrated. And I know I sound like a broken record because I say this every time I make a video or mention Kubrat Pulev, but I'm just being honest with you guys. I've always felt he was a bit overrated. The guy has no punching power. Right? He has no punching power. You know, he's the Paulie Malignaggi of the heavyweight division. What does he have, like 9 knockouts? He's no Mike Tyson. He's not a big puncher. So Dillian Whyte wouldn't have to worry about, what's coming from Kubrat Pulev because he's not really a big puncher. And he doesn't have a chin. But when it comes to Luis Ortiz, I think he's a more dangerous fight and a more difficult fight for Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte because he, number one, he's a bigger puncher, and I think he's a better talent. And when it comes to style-wise, he's going to be more challenging because when it comes to Kubrat Pulev is a boxer. He's a boxer. He moves. You know what's going to happen? And he throws like a jab, right? Like a jab. So you know what's going to happen? You're going to see Kubrat Pulev having no punching power, moving against Dillian Whyte, moving off the back foot and trying to play the counter puncher. But when it comes to Luis Ortiz, Dillian Whyte's going to be coming forward. But Luis Ortiz is more of a guy that he doesn't, although I've seen him bounce around on his tippy toes, but he's more of a guy that is willing to stand toe-to-toe with his opponents. And he's a southpaw, right? So, for example, when he fought Deontay Wilder, he was coming forward. He was being the aggressor, but he's a counterpuncher. And just for excitement, I just think that would be a much more appealing fight. Like, don't you guys agree with me? Don't you guys think that it would just be more fun watching Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz than Dillian Whyte versus Kubrat Pulev? Because I don't know, like, maybe it's just me, I can't read your guys' minds, I can't read your guys' minds. I can't read your mind, but maybe it's just me. But I just get the impression that Dillian Whyte would just easily beat Kubrat Pulev because Kubrat Pulev has no punching power, and like I said, he's overrated in my opinion. He's overrated, and I said if Kubrat Pulev gives him trouble, he needs to retire Dillian Whyte, and he'll never be a champion if he can't beat Kubrat Pulev. But when it comes to Luis Ortiz, I just think that's way more exciting because Luis Ortiz, he has the ability to box, but he's also an aggressive fighter. You know, as he showed against Deontay Wilder, right? He's aggressive as he showed, right? And he's coming off this really good performance against Deontay Wilder. So I just think style-wise, that would be a very fascinating matchup. Watching Luis Ortiz versus King Kong versus the Body Snatcher. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if Dillian Whyte beats Luis Ortiz, I would give him way more credit beating someone like Luis Ortiz than if he were to beat someone like Kubrat Pulev. Because like I said, I just think personally that Kubrat Pulev is not as good, and he's not as dangerous. He's definitely not as dangerous in terms of like punching power than someone like Luis Ortiz. You know, because he got that Cuban power. You know, he got that Cuban sneaky power. You know what I'm saying, Luis Ortiz. And I just think people always tell me, why you give Dillian Whyte a hard time? Why you give him a hard time? Well, I'll tell you something right now. If Dillian Whyte decides to face Luis Ortiz for that WBC title eliminator, I'll give him mad respect. Even if he loses. Because that's not a foregone conclusion. I think that's a very difficult fight. I think it's a very competitive fight. And I think it's a fight that excites me. It excites me. I would watch Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz any day of the week. I just think it's a fun fight to watch style-wise. Both of these men have punching power. Both of these guys can be aggressive. You know, Luis Ortiz is aggressive. Dillian Whyte's aggressive. You know, that's just an interesting fight. And also, I would like to see how Dillian Whyte fares with Luis Ortiz style, because I remember when Deontay Wilder beat Luis Ortiz, Dillian Whyte was quick. He was quick to criticize Deontay Wilder, right? He talked about, if I quote Dillian Whyte, he said that Deontay Wilder has no respect for boxing technique. You know, he only depends on his punching power. He was basically saying that Deontay Wilder was a disgrace to boxing technique. The way he performed against, you know, Luis Ortiz, that's what Dillian Whyte felt like. You know, that was his opinion. So he was talking a lot of smack. So that's why I would like to see how he fares. You know, because he was talking a lot of shit about how Wilder didn't look that impressive against Dillian Whyte. But let's see how he fares. You know, let's see if he gets dominated or if he finds it difficult to be in the ring with someone like who's talented as Luis Ortiz. Let's see how he fares. And also, will he duck this? Because, you know, Dillian Whyte has always gone around saying that everybody's ducking him, right? This guy's ducking him, this guy's ducking him, your mama's ducking him, the dude down the street's ducking him, the dude who owns the pub down the block, he's ducking him. He's always talking about that everybody's ducking him. So right now he has the opportunity to face Luis Ortiz. So if he doesn't take this fight, does that mean, dude, that Dillian Whyte is ducking Luis Ortiz? Does that mean he wants no parts of Luis Ortiz? Because if I recall, a couple of months ago, he went around saying, you know, maybe it was a year ago, maybe even longer, but it was a while ago. Because this was before I even made my boxing channel, but he was talking about that, you know, I want to fight Luis Ortiz. Oh yeah, it was remember when Luis Ortiz was signed with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Promotions? Back when he first signed with Matchroom, like about a year and a half ago, and he had that little like 3-fight run with Matchroom. When he was signed with Matchroom, I remember Dillian Whyte came out and he was like, yo, I want to fight Luis Ortiz. So let's see if he still feels that way. Let's see if he still feels that way. Because if he don't fight him and he turns down this IBF, you know, title eliminator, like I said, does that mean that he's ducking Luis Ortiz? You know, does that mean that? But again, I guess you have to put yourself in Dillian Whyte's position, because Dillian Whyte, let's say he decides to take the Luis Ortiz fight. That's a difficult fight for him. It's not a foregone conclusion he's going to win. But let's say he wins. Even if he wins, he still has to wait for Dominic Breazeale to face Deontay Wilder. So let's say he takes the fight, and let's say they fight sometime July. And let's say he manages to beat Luis Ortiz. And then that same month, Dominic Breazeale faces Wilder. And like say Wilder beats Dominic Breazeale, because trust me, he will beat Dominic Breazeale. And in fashion. It's going to be lights out for Dominic Breazeale. Trouble. You know, he trouble. But he going to get troubled when he faces off against Deontay Wilder, dude. But let's say then he beats Dominic Breazeale. Well, now that means that he's next for Wilder, right? Because he won the mandatory position against Luis Ortiz, right? But here's the thing. Wilder can make Dillian Whyte wait a year, and he could face voluntaries. You see what I'm saying? And and that could be another year. So let's say that's another 17 months. So he could, you know, the thing about Dillian Whyte is he's like always in the shelf, right? He's like one of those heavyweights. He's just always on the shelf. You know, he's fighting these guys, but he never gets that big title shot, that big title opportunity. He never gets it. So maybe Dillian Whyte feels like, well, if Deontay Wilder wants no parts of me, I know the Anthony Joshua would want parts of me because he already faced me. He fought me. So why wouldn't he want to fight me again? And I heard Dillian Whyte say that he wants like a trilogy with these guys. He wants to have fights with, you know, Deontay Wilder several times, fights with Anthony Joshua several times, fights with Joseph Parker several times. So he wants these fights. He wants these fights. So again, what route should Dillian Whyte take? And by the way, guys, if you ever hear one of my videos and you hear like background noises, I apologize for that. You know, sometimes I make a video and I don't realize that I'm banging on the side of my microphone, because like my microphone, I have it on like a one of these like extendable stands. You could like be moving it up and down, and sometimes I'm like making a video and I get really hyped up and I don't realize that I'm like banging against the stand, or I'm banging my foot against the my chair. And my microphone is very powerful, so it picks up everything. It picks up like sometimes I'll hear a video and I'm like, there's someone having a conversation downstairs, and it picks it up, and I'm like, holy shit, it picks that up too. You know, fuck. So that's why I apologize. Sometimes I'll be making videos and I just upload them, and I don't rehear them. I don't re-listen to them, and then when I go back to my channel and I'm like listening to them, I'm like, oh shit, look at all these banging noises. So that you know, my microphone picked up. So yeah, I apologize for that. If you ever like hear like noises in the back of my background noises, again, it's my fault. I don't realize that I'm like banging my leg against the wall, or you know, against the computer chair and all that shit. I'm trying to like get a spot, like, because I'm like changing locations in my apartment. So I'm like, sometimes I'll have it in the living room, then I have like a small room. I'm trying to get like a room where the microphone doesn't pick up anything, so it'll just pick up my voice. But it's kind of difficult, you know, and I live with other people, so you know, they make noise too, so it's kind of difficult to just make a video just with my voice. But I'm trying because I don't like the background noises it picks up sometimes. Hopefully this video didn't come out like it didn't pick up too much background noises. But although the place I'm recording right now, it's in another room, so, and it's kind of quiet over here. You know, there's no one here but me. But so yeah, I apologize for the background noises. Anyway, what do you guys think wins? What do you guys think of that fight, Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz? Like, let me know in the comment section. Do you guys think, like me, that it's more dangerous for Dillian Whyte and it's more competitive than if he were to face Khabib Pulev? Let me know, guys, in the comment section. Anyway, guys, as always, if you guys watched the video from start to finish, much appreciated. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily boxing videos, guys. I'm out. Bye-bye.